Welcome into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier, watching One-on-One. The Bedlam basketball series. The Pokes
It didn't
fall
go our
off.
way this year.
No. 3-3 in the last 6, so I guess there's that positive.
Yeah.
Brad Underwood, the guy that I guess shouldn't be named, went 2-0. Split series last year, and unfortunately the Cowboys are 0-2 in Bedlam this year. They had a 28-9 lead, and this game, I think, went exactly how we said it was going to go on Wednesday. I mean, it's not for the lack of Oklahoma State not being the better team, not having good players. It's not having enough good players. A 28-9 lead for the Cowboys. Even then, it was 37-31 at halftime. And, Logan, up until the last 3.5, 4 minutes, it was close. That was the first time OU had taken a lead, and they just didn't have enough gas to get through.
And I mean, they only played 7 guys. You play your starting 5. They played probably an average of 33, 32 minutes, something like that. And then Duncan DeMuth comes off the bench to give you 9 minutes, goes 0 for 2, 3 fouls, 2 rebounds. And Jones comes off, gives you 25 good minutes, gives you 9 points. They're just not deep enough. Cameron McGriff played 40 minutes. 4 for 9, 3 for 6 from the three-point line, 13 points. Lindy Waters with a Cowboy high, 20 points, 7 for 13. And then Thomas Azagwa 3 for 9, 9 points. Those guys played a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Those guys played too many minutes, honestly. They played a combined 82 minutes for 3 guys. That's too much, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for the rest of the year. Their legs are gonna be gone. They're not gonna be able to be as effective on the offensive end. And those are the 3 best offensive players.
Yeah, and I mean, just to go down the list, you have 40 for Cameron Griff, 27 and 27 for Ironai and Isaac Likely, and then you have 35 for Lindy and 37 for Thomas Dzongwa.
Yeah.
And then on the bench, you get 9 out of Duncan DeMuth, and let's just say his performance, there's a reason he only played 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And Curtis Jones gets you 25 and plays, I mean, he got 9 points. He played decent, I guess, for what you would want out of a bench player. But you need 3 Curtis Jones to win this game.
Right, and I mean, honestly, Lindy Waters probably would have played close to 40 minutes like Cameron McGriff did if he didn't get himself in foul trouble. I believe he fouled out right towards the end of the game. It didn't really matter. But he was in foul trouble for a lot of the second half. So I think that's why he didn't end up playing more than 35 minutes. And I just don't think if you play those guys that many minutes, you're going to have a ton of success. You're going to have to find guys that can stay on the court so those guys can sit down and get some rest besides halftime and timeouts.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, I feel like for the rest of the season, on every single one-on-one show, this is going to be the story.
Yeah, it's going to kind of be like the basketball season, or the football season, where
at least there were some ups. I mean, you got the Texas win, and it's just frustrating that I don't think they're a bad basketball team. I don't think Mike Boynton thinks that, and I don't think the players think that. And certainly you have some fans out there who are fans are over hypercritical. I mean, they want to win. They want to win now. Even Cleveland Browns fans, which we'll get to later, seem to think that they should be able to win now.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't have the cards in your hand to make a play. And Oklahoma State doesn't, and it's the fact that they've had to kick people off the team, and no one, I think, should judge Mike Boynton for that. But you're looking at it, and you just don't have enough players to get it done.
Right, and they weren't going to go win a national title this year anyway. Mike Boynton has got some guys coming into this program that are going to help transform the program. They're not here yet. They're still in high school. Give them a little bit more time. He's still doing a really good job, I feel like, with what he's got. I mean, to go into halftime with a lead, to only lose by 9, that's a pretty good performance given the last couple of weeks for this program.
Right, they're sitting at 8-11, 2-5 in the conference. OU's now improves to 14-5 and 3-4. But I think OU's probably a borderline tournament team. I think that they can do better down the stretch than they did last year. Obviously, at this time last year, they were a top 3 team.
They've already won more road games this year than they did in the last part of last season. So,
yeah, I mean they're playing well.
Yeah.
But I think that the key, like I said, it's just going to be so repetitive. But if you're looking at Oklahoma State like Lon Kruger did, like Frank Martin of South Carolina is doing right now, you can not relax for 35, but you can play probably bad basketball for 35. In that last 5, just play all your fresh players. Just get a good rotation in, and you can probably beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I think you said it on Wednesday. You have to attack this team's depth because it's just not there. They don't have enough guys to go out there and put 6, or they can put 6 guys out there. Sorry, they don't have enough guys to put 8, 9 guys out there and play quality minutes. I mean, that's just going to be the story. Every coach is going to look at that for the rest of the season. And honestly, if the Cowboys can't go into halftime with some kind of huge lead, I don't know if there's a strategy for them winning a lot of games, except maybe slowing down the pace so much and controlling the basketball that you can just slow the game down and maybe win a 63-59 kind of game or something like that. But you got to keep guys out of foul trouble. You got to control the ball, not turn it over. Both of those things happened last night. Like I said, Lindy Waters was in foul trouble. Ioannidis always seems to find himself in some kind of foul trouble early. And there were a lot of turnovers. Lindy Waters had 5 himself. Most of those were late in the game after they started doubling him. But you got to be able to take care of the basketball and not get in foul trouble. Those are pretty basic, but I feel like that's the way this team has to find success.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually you get guys with 30 fouls and they're hitting the bench.
Right.
You don't have that luxury now. Mike Boynton doesn't. I mean, you talked about Lindy Waters fouling out. Ioannidis had 3 fouls, 2 for Cam McGriff, 1 for Isaac Likely. And Duncan DeMuth, what little he played, he had 3 as well.
Yeah.
But there's a number here. Now they can't control this roster. I mean, this is it. This is it. They did add the walk-on, but I mean, let's be honest, that's not going to. He wasn't in uniform. Even if he is in uniform, not going to add enough depth or be a talented enough player to make a difference. But there's a number that you can control. They're shooting 71% from the line Wednesday night. You can control that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was only 5 for 7, but the 2 points aren't going to make a difference. But you can control that.
Mm-hmm.
OU only shot 33% from beyond the arc. OSU, 44%.
I will say this team is really good at defending the 3. I could be wrong, but I believe they are the best in the Big 12 statistically at defending the 3 ball, which will be another huge part. Obviously, 3's worth more than 2. You got to keep.
Good math, Logan.
Yeah,
Good math.
I passed basic math here, so I'm good at math.
Quick math.
Quick math. That's right. But I mean, they're just gonna have to keep that defense up. I think defense is gonna be another big thing. If they can stay pretty good from defending the 3-point line, I think there's a chance they can win some more games down the road. But we'll have to see how that goes the rest of the season.
Well, like I said, you'd think the recipe would probably be relatively easy, and it's not even X's and O's. It's just having the stamina to go 40 minutes. Not a good night for Oklahoma State Wednesday. The Cowgirls fell 59-48.
That building is cursed.
Yeah.
I swear.
Now they're 2 wins.
11, right?
2 wins in the last 11 years. So 2-9.
Or 2-9, yeah.
2-9.
Man.
And there was 15, I believe, to 2 at the end of the first quarter. 15-3.
Mm-hmm.
Cowgirls get a lead at halftime, kind of like the Cowboys did.
Yeah.
Got a lead in the second half, and it just wasn't enough for 4 quarters there for the Cowgirls. But they have a quick turnaround just like Cowboys do, so hopefully they'll improve this weekend.
Yep.
That leads us to this SEC Big 12 matchup, which we'll get into all the matchups and give our game predictions. But South Carolina is coming to Stillwater.
Yep.
Weird game for Mike Boynton. This is his alma mater.
I like it.
Alma mater. Frank Martin just a couple years ago, Logan, took the Gamecocks to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're 10-8 with losses to Wofford, Stony Brook, and Wyoming. But they have a couple top 25 wins over Auburn and Mississippi State at the time.
Yep.
But 10-8, this is about the premier team in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
But Frank Martin has had the ability to win. He's won in Galgarai before as the head coach of Kansas State. I think the recipe's pretty simple.
I think so. Yeah. I think you got to do what OU did. Just attack the depth of Oklahoma State. Try to get guys in foul trouble. Try to get to the line, create fouls, and just play a decent 30 to 32 minutes, and then just put in some fresh guys and go with the guys that have been playing for 40 minutes for Oklahoma State. What do you think is going to happen in this game? Who are you expecting to win?
I would say South Carolina because I just think they're coming off a big win over number 16 Auburn 3-point 180 to 77. But I mean, I don't see Oklahoma State being able to run with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely can't be running up and down the court for 40 minutes the way some of these teams like to play. But I think there's a roadmap for a victory here. I think everything that we just said earlier, you got to slow the ball down, stay out of foul trouble, play good, solid defense on the three-point line, and in the paint for that matter. You can't be fouling guys at the rim, and just control the pace of the game. And with the crowd, there was a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, I want you to talk about that, by the way, because you were there Wednesday night. It was 81% full, had over 11,000 there. Mike Boynton talked about that after the game. Basically said, hey, there's not a lot of reasons to come, but they were there. They cheered on the Cowboys. As a student at Oklahoma State, what did that mean to you to see that environment with the way things are going? I mean, because it was OU is why that crowd was there, but to see that, it had to mean something.
It does. I mean, people still love the school. Obviously, people love the school they go to. I think a lot of people believe in would run through a wall for Mike Boynton that have never even met him.
Right. Would go to war for the guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that guy just energizes everyone. I think people are behind him as a coach. I think they believe in what he's doing for the program. I think they kind of realize the vision is long-term, not this year. And I'm hoping there's a similar crowd. I'm not expecting 81% full.
Right. You're not.
I'm expecting a good crowd. It's a Saturday. It's in the middle of the afternoon. I think everyone will be wanting to go see some basketball. And they'll try and put the best product they can out there. Those guys that are on this team love this school just as much, if not more, than most of the rest of us.
Yeah, and they want to win, believe it or not, more than the fans
right.
do. They're tired of this as well.
Yeah.
But I would imagine South Carolina is going to win. I think it'll be a lot like the Bedlam win. I think that they'll play hard for 35 minutes, and it's just going to be too much. I think it'll be close. Probably Bedlam wasn't high scoring per se. I'll probably say 65-58 win for South Carolina. But in this game, this big win over Auburn, they played 9 guys. No one played over 31 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's the only guy that played, Silva, over 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting the same thing. The Cowboys will be in it for the first half, especially depending on the crowd. But I think at the end of the day, the depth is just too big of an issue. It's too big of a hurdle to overcome. Guys aren't going to have their legs. They're not going to be able to shoot as well towards the end of the game. I'm going to say South Carolina. I'm going to go a bit more high scoring than you. I'm going to say South Carolina 75, Oklahoma State 62.
So you say close for most of the game, you think?
Yeah, I think they'll pull away in the second half.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game nonetheless. I mean, you would like to see the Cowboys be able to pull it off. But if you're in Stillwater, a 1 o'clock tip in Gallagher-Iba Arena, make sure you go out and support the Cowboys. So this SEC Big 12 matchup, Logan, we'll run through the games really quick. We don't have to give score predictions for this.
Okay.
But an interesting one, number 24 Iowa State at number 20 Ole Miss.
Yeah, I like this one, but I think Ole Miss is going to win. If Iowa State was at home, I'd pick them because they are just so tough to play at home. But they're on the road, so I'm taking Ole Miss.
They're finding ways to beat really good teams. I'm taking Iowa State. Alabama at Baylor down in Waco.
Give me Baylor.
I will take Alabama.
Alabama did just come off a big win. I'm afraid they'll come out flat.
It's typical
Yeah.
of the Avery Johnson team. Florida at TCU.
Give me Florida.
Florida's 11-7.
They're
TCU,
better than their record, though.
14-4. I'm taking TCU in a close one.
Okay.
Obviously, we both taking South Carolina over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Texas at Georgia, a rematch of the Sugar Bowl.
Give me Texas.
Georgia's 9-9. Tom Crean is going to get there, but just not yet.
Yeah.
I'm taking Texas as well. Kansas State at Texas A&M.
Give me Kansas State. They are so good on the defensive side of the ball.
I will take K-State
That
as
travels.
well. West Virginia at number 1 Tennessee.
I'll take Tennessee, man.
The worst team in the Big 12.
Bob Huggins is going to leave after this game.
We're both taking Tennessee. Vanderbilt down in Norman.
I'll take Oklahoma.
I will take OU as well. Number 9 Kansas at number 8 Kentucky.
Give me Kentucky. Kansas is not as good as their record.
Kansas wins by 15 points.
Oh, okay.
Arkansas at 14 Texas Tech. The Red Raiders are on a 3-game slide.
Texas Tech's going to bounce back here.
Give me Arkansas in a very tough defensive game. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on One-on-One, Suddenlink Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One, live from Studio 318 here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's snowing outside, so we're getting a little bit of winter. And if it snows enough, school can be canceled tomorrow because we don't have it.
What a terrible day for snow.
That's just our luck. But Victor Oladipo, you were telling me over break, you didn't really think he was healthy, but I mean he's definitely out for the season now with a ruptured quad tendon, an injury that looked pretty serious. Logan, anytime a trainer comes out and puts a towel over an injury,
It's bad.
you know it's bad. And unfortunately, the former Magic and Thunder, I really think that Indiana embraced him because he played at IU. I mean, this was their guy, but he, as you mentioned, has not been healthy all season.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Victor Oladipo and especially the Pacers moving forward?
I think for Victor, I think he can bounce back. This is a pretty unique injury in the NBA. You don't really get a ruptured quad tendon that often. The two big examples are obviously Charles Barkley, and that injury ended his career, but he was on his way out anyway.
Right.
And then Tony Parker from last year, and he's still playing pretty well for how old he is. And from everything you hear and read about Victor Oladipo, he's an extremely hard worker, so he's going to work his way back. I don't think he'll be healthy for next year. I think we're going to have to wait 2 years before we see Victor Oladipo back at what he is, what he should be, what he's capable of. And that's really unfortunate for the Pacers because they're currently third in the East.
They're sitting there at 32-15. They're only 2.5 games back.
And I mean, even with the games before this injury, when Victor Oladipo didn't play, I think they were 11-3. So they're a good basketball team, but you kind of have to scrap it for this year. You have to look at guys that are expiring contracts, and you have to decide if you want to sign them long term, or if you want to move them and get a guy long term. So in 2 years, when Victor Oladipo's back to full strength, you can make a run like they thought they were going to make this year. But unfortunately, they'll still make the playoffs, I feel like, without Victor Oladipo, but I don't know if they're a threat to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, and really they've got the 38-14 without a large contribution from Victor Oladipo. So I don't.
Right.
But when you get in those meaningful games, I mean, they took the Cavs to 7 in the first round last year. Obviously, the Cavs are not going to be there this year. Now sitting there at just 26.5 games back, 9-40, just 26.5.
So close.
But when you're looking at Milwaukee, Toronto, even Philadelphia, even Boston, and believe it or not, the Brooklyn Nets at 6. If you get into that scenario, maybe where you were with Minnesota and Denver last year, where that final few game stretch, or even if they stay in the first round, they'll probably make the playoffs in the East still.
Yeah, I think so. I can't really. off the top of my head, I don't think there's a team that could beat them out because they have a really good coach. They have a really good coach, and they just play really well together. Miles Turner has played better than I thought he would this season. Thaddeus Young is always really good. Domantas Sabonis has come up, and he's in the conversation for most improved. Darren Collison's good. Tyreek Evans is good. Bogdan I'm not even going to try. Bogdanovich, that's a tough name to say. He's playing really well for them. So they have a solid team, and I think they can make the playoffs. Like I said, I just think if you take Victor Oladipo out, they're not a threat.
Well, Logan, good thing for the Pacers, as much as they don't want to lose Victor Oladipo, the amount of stink in the East
Yeah.
is everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 7 and 8 right now. Granted, we're not even to the All-Star break, but your 7 and 8 seeds are below 500.
And that's typical for the East.
I mean, the Hornets and Heat are sitting there at 7 and
Yeah.
8. They're 23 and 24 and 22 and 24. And then you have the Pistons, the awful Wizards, the awful
Yeah.
Magic, the Hawks at
Hawks.
15 and 32 are shattering expectations, and they're 19 and a half games back.
Yeah.
Then you have the Bulls, who I think should try and get this lottery pick. Like, they
Yeah.
should try and be worse. And the only reason the Knicks aren't last is because the Cavs are that bad.
And the Knicks don't know how to tank. The Knicks are bad enough to be in last place, but they just don't. They have never successfully tanked in their life. They're going to be in the hunt for Zion Williamson, but they're just going to win like 8 games in a row down the stretch, and then they're going to end up like picking 8th.
The Knicks aren't even good at they're bad at being bad.
They are, and I blame James Dolan. Like for everything else in New York, I blame James Dolan.
He is responsible. He bears a lot of that blame, and he should.
Yeah. Speaking of the Knicks, Enes
Enes
Kanter, he is not happy with his role. Do you see him being able to move him by the trade deadline, or is he just stuck?
Well, I mean, he's in his final year of contract,
Right.
But it's also an $18.6 million contract, and Enes Kanter's not that good.
Yeah.
He's 66th of 67 centers in plus-minus defensive rating right now. I mean, Enes Kanter's not a guy you're going to trade for to make a
couldn't.
push in a championship.
Yeah. Right.
And Enes Kanter bears a lot of off-the-court problems that,
Yeah.
that, quite honestly, aren't necessarily his fault. I mean, you look at his home country, Turkey. There's a warrant out for his arrest. I mean, he doesn't travel abroad. He wouldn't even travel to London with the Knicks, afraid
Yeah.
of being assassinated. Those are serious issues, and the NBA, I think, does a phenomenal job at taking care of those issues and him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're going to have to take that on.
Right.
And his Twitter. I mean, it's just he's not a good enough player to bear dealing with him.
Right.
So the Knicks are going to try and move on, maybe buy him out. I don't envision him being a Knick at the end of the season.
I don't either. I imagine him kind of being, if the Knicks want to just dump salaries, I could see him being a part of a deal.
They should dump everyone's salaries.
I mean, you look at Tim Hardaway Jr. is a real asset. You can move that in his big contract, and Enes Kanter, maybe, I don't know, you make some kind of push for something for, I don't know. I don't know what kind of value those guys would really bring you, but I don't see him being a Knick at the end of the year either. I didn't really consider him being bought out just because his contract is so big, but maybe he agrees to take less than the full amount. But yeah, I'm with you. He's not a Knick at the end of the season, and he's not really worth being on a great team. There are certainly teams that will sign him. I could see the Cavaliers going gung-ho and giving this guy a lot of money, but he's not going to contribute to a championship team. The Thunder tried that, brought him off the bench, and he is a really talented offensive player, but
he struggles.
He couldn't guard you or me. He couldn't guard either one of us.
I mean, so let's suppose he gets bought out, or I'll ask you, do you think it's more likely that he gets bought out or traded?
I think traded. I think there are enough teams that are trying to move salaries around or something like that he could be part of some kind of deal, because he isn't expiring. So,
Right.
you take on that contract for maybe, not a pick, but maybe like a second-round pick or something. I can't exactly give you his value, but I think at the end of the year, he just comes off the books for somebody, and they have more cap space in free agency.
Well, is there a reunion in store for Enes Kanter? Is there a chance he comes back? Because I don't necessarily think there's
so.
a piece that the Thunder want to move to New York.
No.
But if he got bought out, maybe, would there be a reunion?
No, I think Nerlens Noel's playing really well for them at that backup center position, so I don't feel like they need him. Obviously, he's not going to replace Steven Adams.
Right.
So I don't see a reunion in that regard. I'm trying to think. it's hard for me to think of a great team that needs a backup center. Maybe the
Right.
Trailblazers.
Right, and
The
there's-
Trailblazers they need someone off their bench.
And to be fair, I mean, there's 30 teams in the NBA,
Right.
and about 6 of them have a legitimate shot at a title,
Right.
and mainly just one.
Yeah.
But there's not a ton of great teams in there, so he can find a role on a team.
He will.
But you're always looking for these guys want to win championships. I mean, they also want to get paid.
Yes.
But if you could get paid and also be on a winning team and experience the playoffs and have a shot at a title,
Mm-hmm.
that's where he's going to want to go. But I just don't envision that for Enes Kanter.
Right. I don't either. Not on a title team for sure, but he'll find a home.
Well, he's not an all-star. I think we
No.
can all agree on that. But LeBron and Giannis lead the all-star, or they're going to
Yeah,
be
they're-
captains.
they're
They
the
lead
captains.
the all-star voting. Giannis said he's going to put, if he can, he's going to put Embiid and Russell Westbrook.
I like that.
He's a peacemaker.
I love it.
I mean, you saw Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook have that alley-oop
Yeah.
a couple years ago, and it made everyone's heart skip a beat. That took away the hate of Kevin Durant in this state for about 0.2 seconds,
Yeah.
and then they started hating him again. By the way, what KD did opening the center in
Yeah.
DC, he should get. I mean, and it's on ESPN. I've seen some people absolutely
Yeah.
mad because he didn't get the attention that LeBron did, because LeBron opened up an entire school.
Right.
But Kevin Durant should be lauded for what he did.
I
They
agree.
should be proud
Yeah.
of this.
I agree. He did a great thing for his hometown back in DC. So, yeah, props to Kevin Durant for that. But All-Star, I would love to see Russell Westbrook and Joel Embiid in the All-Star game together. Because I feel like at the end of the day, like they'll be friendly on the court, but they're not going to – it's still not going to fix anything after the game's over. Because that's just the kind of guy both of those guys are.
Well, I think Russell Westbrook wants to fight everyone.
Yeah.
Now Damian
Yeah.
Lillard, just the entire Trailblazers, the Portland Trailblazers
Yeah.
are going after him. He doesn't want anybody.
That's right. Yeah.
But they're going to be on the same team if Giannis continues to be
Yeah.
the captain and has those picks. Should the All-Star voting change?
It's not perfect, but I can't envision some kind of more successful format. I like the way they broke it up. You know, you got to involve the fans. Everyone hates the fan vote,
Right.
but this is for the fans. And I know people say, well, this stuff goes into Hall of Fame considerations and yada, yada, yada. And it does, and it's
Absolutely.
important and should be taken seriously. That's why the media and the media and the coaches and the players have a more important role than the fans. The fans can only vote for the starters.
right.
And it doesn't say all-star starter when you're in the Hall of Fame. You're just an all-star. So I like the way it is. I think it's fun to get fans involved. You get some stupid stuff sometimes, like Zaza Pachulia almost being an all-star. But this year I didn't really see any of that.
And it's almost like Major League Baseball a few years ago. I mean, their starting 9 was almost all Royals because it was so much fan voting. It's
Yeah.
like all 9 of these guys don't deserve to be
Yeah.
in this, but you had that happening. So I agree with you. I mean, it's always going to be flawed. It's
Yeah.
an imperfect system, but they probably are doing it the best they can right now.
Yeah.
But an All-Star and Paul George, you heard a lot of he's not going to be an All-Star in the West.
I was one of them.
You were wrong.
I was definitely one of them.
I probably said that too. Really quickly, what do you make of this?
I think it's great.
Season.
He's playing the best basketball he's ever played in his life, and he absolutely deserves this. I think he should be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation and the MVP conversation as well, but I don't know if he'll get that much respect for what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, Paul George is kind of an under-the-radar guy, but he's
Yeah.
having a phenomenal season. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, talk about James Harden making the Knicks look bad at Madison Square Garden. You're watching One on One. We'll be right back.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. As we mentioned, Logan, it's snowing outside. People are starting to get a little anxious.
Yeah.
But we still have 2 segments to go. We joked on Wednesday that James Harden on this scoring run that he was on was going to drop 61 and tie Kobe. It happened. He dropped 61 and 15, albeit on the Knicks, but it was a 114-110, a close win for the Rockets.
That's so sad that a guy can drop 61 and it's a close win.
I can't believe that we were like, he's going to drop 61. He's going to tie Kobe there, and then he's going to go to Toronto and drop 81. Maybe that'll happen next. I don't know. 61 points is impressive.
It is.
Especially with the run that he's been on. That pushes it to 30 points in 21-plus games, a few of those including 50-point performances, and this one being 61, plus the 15 rebounds.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Is this the highest he's going to score on this streak, or is there another level?
I think he'll score 70 on a bad team. I think
he can take over the 81. I think he can score more than 81.
Oof.
Devin Booker a couple years ago scored 70 on a good Celtics team.
That's true.
And he only hit 4 threes in it, and James Harden's shooting like 70 threes a game, it seems like. But, I mean, he's going to the line almost like 20 times a game, it seems. If he can just hit at least 10, if he hits 10 threes, his 20 free throws, I think he can do it. I think it's possible. I never thought I'd say that.
Well, I mean, they have the Raptors coming up.
That's a tough one. I don't think it'll happen there.
81.
That would be too perfect.
Kobe's 61 and 81 performance came relatively close, right?
Yes, he scored that 60. It was that game against Dallas where he scored 60-something in 3 quarters, and then I think it was 2 weeks or a week later, the 81-point game happened. So it's something big's coming, I feel like.
Well, I'm just gonna run through the next 10 games or so, and you tell me if he could win it or he could do this. Tonight, Toronto, or home for Toronto.
I've already got it.
Orlando, is that it?
No.
New Orleans, Denver, Utah, Phoenix, Sacramento, OKC, and Dallas.
At Phoenix, James Harden, 87 points.
So on Monday, February 4th.
At 9 p.m.
You are calling 87 points.
87 from the beard.
He's going to drop 12. He's going to drop 12.
We'll play this when he does.
If in fact that happens, we'll buy. I don't know what I'll get you. I'm not going to say I'm going to buy you anything because, quite frankly, I have no money. So we'll get you something else though. But I mean, this game against the Knicks, Logan, you're talking about those free throws, 22 of 25.
Yeah.
5 from 20 from three-point land and 17 of 38 in field goals.
Jason Colicchio is having a stroke in the audio booth talking about those free throws.
Well, I mean,
he just gets to the line so easily.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that he did it against the Knicks, I mean, Yikes.
The guy, I can't even say that it's like, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like the way he scores his points. By
Well,
just
yeah, I mean, he almost cherry picks in a way, but
yeah, and the ticky-tack fouls he gets and stuff like that, but
it's effective, so why
it's
not?
so impressive. Because why isn't anyone else doing it?
Because no one else has a beard like that.
No one else can do what he's doing.
Well, this is the point we talked about on Wednesday. When Chris Paul comes back, this
It's
might
over.
change.
Yeah.
Is he going to be back by Phoenix?
I don't think so.
So if he's not back by 87 points,
87.
you truly believe that? I
do.
can tell you legitimately believe that's going to happen. I think he'll get 70. I'm not going to go 87.
87.
87 points.
I'm going to be really
Wow.
upset if Chris Paul comes back like tonight. And this is just over.
Well, I mean, you can always bank on that he's going to get hurt again.
That's true.
I mean, I think that 67 is going to happen, but 87.
87.
I think in this, and we're talking in this next 10-game stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to hit that. I don't know. It's going to be a tough, because Brooklyn's good.
Brooklyn
Miami-
is really good.
Miami's not great. I think
Brooklyn's pretty good, not pretty good stopping James Harden, because no one's good at stopping James Harden right now, but they have a win over Houston the past, or however long this streak's been going on. They have an overtime win against them, so you got to give Brooklyn some kind of credit. And I mean, it's also not fair, because if you look at the team around James Harden, this is a college team.
right.
If you take away Eric Gordon, Kenneth Faried, when was the last time anyone talked about him? 2014?
Fair.
Austin Rivers has been on 3 teams in what seems like 3 months.
And he's the Prince of Petty Wars. He's
Yeah.
known for being unlikable
Right.
in a 14-year-old
Right.
maturity level in the locker room than he is actually being an NBA player.
Right. And Eric Gordon, like I said, pretty good. PJ Tucker also pretty good. Chris Paul's out. Gerald Green he thinks he's James Harden. I think he sees James Harden. He's like, I can do that. And then he shoots as much as he takes the shots that he does, but they don't even go close to going in most of the time. Clint Capella's hurt. James Ennis. When was the last time anyone heard of James Ennis?
About 9 seconds ago. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing with scrubs for the most part.
Tuesday, New Orleans, 67.
Okay, I
At
can see
home.
that.
And you're going 87 against Phoenix.
He's breaking the record against Phoenix. Who's going to guard him?
Himself.
Yeah.
Probably the basket. Probably the basket. They do have a game coming up against the Lakers here at the end of February. Will LeBron be back by then? Because, I mean,
hope so.
He's missed 15 games.
Yeah.
They're 5-10 since he got back. Now Lonzo's out for about 5 weeks, but
Yeah.
they got Rondo back just in time for Lonzo to go down. But they're not a good basketball team without LeBron James,
No.
and I think everyone kind of knew that was the case
Yeah.
going into this season. When do you see LeBron coming back? Because we saw this injury with Steph Curry a couple months ago,
Yeah,
and Steph
he missed a
Curry
month.
even told LeBron, don't rush back, because that injury can get re-aggravated, and it could be something that you really never recover from.
Right.
So I'm a fan of LeBron taking time
Yeah.
to get right, but when do you envision him coming back?
I think it's got to be pretty quick because it's been about a month. He went out at Christmas. It's been about a month. I would expect him to come back sometime within the next week or so, definitely before the All-Star break.
Right at a month. It's January 25th.
There we go. So I imagine he'll be back sometime within the next week to 10 days, something like that. Let me look at their schedule because he's going to cherry pick when he comes back. He's not going to come back against Toronto or anything like that. Could come back tonight. They play Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty tough stretch coming up until February 12th when they play the Hawks. So I imagine he'll come back sometime. I could really see Sunday against Phoenix being his return. They obviously haven't said anything like that. I don't even know if they've indicated that he's close to coming back. But you get Phoenix on the 27th, Philadelphia on the 29th, and then you start a 6-game road stretch. I don't think you want to come back in the middle of a road stretch. So I would look for him to come back sometime within the next week.
He just needs to continue to rehab, continue to drink that wine.
Yep.
And LeBron will be all right. But I think he saw with this Steph Curry a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush it back. And so the Lakers aren't going to win a title now anyways.
Right.
And LeBron knows that. But it's going to be a bad look even if he comes back in a month or so. If they don't make the playoffs, this is going to be a bad look for LeBron.
Yeah, and I don't think they won't make the playoffs without LeBron. They're still in the hunt. They're in the 9 seed right now without him. Only a game and a half back of the Clippers.
Yeah, they went from being the 4 seed a month ago to the 9 seed.
And that's just what LeBron James does for your basketball team. I mean, we saw this team last year won 20 games. They're not a good basketball team without him, and obviously the Cavaliers aren't either. I think that's just the price you pay with having LeBron. You're built around LeBron. And if you don't have him, it doesn't work. So I think they could easily climb back up into... I think they can take the Clippers spot, and maybe they'll knock the Spurs down a spot. But I imagine them being in the playoffs by the end of the year.
From this 9-16, outside of the Lakers, do you see any team here in the Western Conference that can elevate themselves up to that top 8 seed?
No. No. I really don't. The West is so tough. The Kings, for some reason, have a fighting chance. The Timberwolves have played a lot better as of late. I think the Pelicans season is over. Anthony Davis is just going to leave at the end of the year. The Mavs, I thought they had a chance at one point, but they're just terrible on the road. So I'm not giving them a shot. Memphis is over. They're shopping Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, and Phoenix is Phoenix. So Phoenix is going to give up 87 to James Harden. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Logan, if this comes true, you'll be famous on
I will.
Twitter. I will make sure, I will dedicate a day to making sure you're famous on Twitter. And the Kyrie stuff, we'll move onto the Celtics. Okay. We talked about this on Wednesday, but it aggravates me so much that he keeps saying, we need a veteran, we need a leader.
Yeah.
Why can't it be Kyrie? I mean, come on, Logan.
Yeah.
It's just like he stands there like, we need a leader. You're a veteran.
Yeah.
You had to call LeBron to apologize. Apparently, you saw what to do. Do it. By the way, he's day-to-day. Shocker.
Yeah.
He's got an injury. Shocker. I mean, I'm just so tired of the Kyrie, we need. You have, and it's you. You just can't do it.
They are 4-0 since he talked to LeBron. They are 4
fair.
straight. He did not play in the last game.
That's why they're 4-0.
But it doesn't make any sense. We always talk about it. Why make it public? Why say this in front of cameras for everyone to see? I don't know if he thinks it's going to ignite someone, but it obviously is. It's working and not working. I don't know. He needs to just lead by example. He needs to stop saying we need a leader and just go out and play.
Yeah, you got Marcus Smart out there who's willing to fight anyone for the
Definitely.
Celtics. And Kyrie's just, anytime he gets in front of a microphone, it's either the earth is flat,
moon landing's fake.
Moon landing's fake, or we need a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing ever seems to be good enough for Kyrie. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about the Chiefs' new defensive coordinator and everything going on in the NFL. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to One on One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live studio 318. The Chiefs have their new defensive coordinator, Logan.
Yep.
Steve Spagnuolo, a guy who's the head coach of the Rams, 10-38 3 seasons. He's been a defense coordinator for 6 seasons with the Giants and the Saints. He was on Andy Reid's staff for 6 years as a defensive assistant in Philadelphia. So you have to appreciate the relationship there.
Right.
In the 6 years, he's had 3 top 10 defenses. So there's some results.
Yeah.
But he's also been very bad at times. The good news for the Chiefs is it literally cannot get any worse.
Can't get worse than the last.
I genuinely mean this, and I think, tell me if I'm crazy, if the Chiefs had an average defense, which would have been 15, they might be 19-0 and world champions. They scored 28 points at least in every loss. They scored 31 in a loss,
50-something in a loss,
51 in a loss, and 40 in a loss.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you kidding me?
I completely agree. They
51 points?
Yeah. I mean, hey, this guy's defense stopped someone from being undefeated one year.
It's
true. When you're just looking at results. But yeah, I mean, it has to get better from here. I don't know how fast. I don't know if this is going to be an immediate fix. I think they have to focus on the draft and draft for defense.
Right. I mean, they have to go after a system.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully he can figure out who he wants in the draft and they can get those guys. I'm rooting for the Chiefs, Reed. I want you to win a Super Bowl. I want Patrick Mahomes, the world famous golfer, to win a Super Bowl. Can that guy do anything? Can that guy just do anything he wants? Did you see the video?
He can't ice skate, he said.
He can't? Okay.
Well, but other than that,
if he wanted to.
He's just one of those guys that's good at everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at Topgolf launching the golf ball.
He's hitting them as they're coming out of the thing. Yeah, people can't hit him when they're on the tee.
The fact that he's 23 and the fact that he's only going to get better. When I was in Kansas City over the past 2 weekends, a lot of Kansas City sports radio was they were talking about the way people felt about Patrick Mahomes, and Chiefs fans were like, excited because they finally have their guy.
Right.
And they talked to a host in Denver, and he'd been there for like 30 years, and he said Bronco fans have always seen the Chiefs as lesser because they haven't been able to win a championship. But they were never truly afraid of the Chiefs because the Chiefs never had a quarterback.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes has put the fear of God into Broncos fans. One, I love that. But from a host in Denver, they are actually terrified because they have a quarterback that could beat them for 15 years.
Absolutely.
But he needs it now. The headline you talked about from ESPN, they hire Spagnuolo so the Chiefs could win now. I'm just not. I like the hire, I guess.
Yeah.
You have to accept it, but I don't love it. I don't love that it took 2 days. I would have liked to have seen at least a week to interview multiple people to really, really get this right. But this tells me that the Chiefs knew they were going to fire Bob Sutton in October, and they had their guy picked out. So if they did their due diligence there, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see more people interviewed, go through more of a lengthy process, because now everyone else is hired. I mean, you have only a set of guys you can go after, but go after them, interview them, and really talk through it. I just think it was too fast.
Yeah, but I mean, I can also understand why they would want to go as fast as they did. That way, that guy can get ingrained with the rest of the organization, meet the guys as soon as possible, and then figure out what they want to do in the draft. Because, like we were saying, they have to focus on the defense in the draft.
I mean, he does run a 4-3, so they're going to have to go get some more athletic guys, and he loves to blitz. And I think with D Ford, Justin Houston's getting older, he's not nearly as quick, but they're probably going to franchise D Ford. And he deserves it, even after lining up offsides and costing me the glory of a lifetime. But Chiefs Kingdom, still has to be happy with the performance that Dee Ford did.
Oh, yeah. He had a great season. Double-digit sacks, right?
Yeah, I mean, he led the league in a lot of defensive categories. I mean, he had a bigger year than Von Miller. I mean, and that's saying something. And so they have to franchise him. Probably not going to be there more than 1 year. But if Spagnuolo can get some athletic linebackers and they can blitz, they don't have to be the number one defense.
No.
They just have to be average. And if he can get them to be average, the Chiefs have a real chance to win a world championship.
They could honestly probably afford to be a little below average.
Yes, sir. I mean, as long as they're
at
not
20,
32,
yeah,
they're going to be okay. And it just drives you nuts to think that a team was that good at one thing, the best at one thing, and the worst at another.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Oh.
So what position do you want to see him go at most in the draft?
They need a safety, and they need corners.
Okay.
And they need linebackers. They're fine up front.
Do you want him to make a trade for some of those guys maybe? Or
no, you're probably just going to have to go get people in the draft because, I mean, they're still being set back. They don't have a lot of assets after going to get Patrick Mahomes, but no one is complaining about that. No one is complaining.
You do that 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, I mean, if you redraft that class,
he goes first.
He goes first every time.
Yeah.
And people kind of roll their eyes when you say he's the best quarterback in the league, but a metric that you can kind of go by is if you are drafting people in this league, if every player was up, for free agency or up for the draft, who's going first overall?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is going first overall above any other player in the National Football League. That puts him to be the best player in the league, and he probably will be for a long, long time. So hopefully Steve Spagnuolo can get him the help that he needs.
Yeah, going back to Dee Ford for a little bit, you said he had a better year than Von Miller. Can he throw a football better than Von Miller?
I think so.
I told you about that video. For those that didn't see it at the Pro Bowl the other night, they did the skills challenge where obviously non-quarterbacks throw at targets. Von Miller hit one target. Got 1 point. He had a minute to throw as many footballs as he could. He hit one target.
One target.
Well,
there's some news out there. We're going to have, obviously next week, now we're shifting more into that NBA talk.
Yes.
But next week is going to be very football
Super
heavy
Bowl.
because it is Super Bowl week. We're going to go over the prop bets for all of this stuff, talk about the Bears getting their new kicker. We didn't get into Jamal Adams, maybe not sending Pat the Patriot to the hospital.
I'm on the not side. What side are you on?
I don't know.
I'm on the not side.
Does it count if he just went to the hospital for precautionary reasons?
No, he has to have gone for a serious injury.
He has to be admitted.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if we're doing that, probably not. I have no problem with what Jamal Adams did.
I don't either.
Sometimes you do things, and unfortunately, you send people to the hospital. Unfortunately, I don't think that was his intent to do that. And I don't think the guy in Pat the Patriot costume should be hated for having a job.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when you wear a symbol that everyone hates in the National Football League, the evil empire, you deserve to get tackled like that. Why is he even there? There's no Patriots there. They're all preparing for. Why is he? Who invited this guy?
Yeah. I bet he wish he wasn't there.
He's the guy that shows up to the party no one invited, and you find a way to move the party elsewhere. And in this case, you just had to tackle him.
And it was good form. It's not like there was no head-to-head. No ref would have missed any call there. No head-to-head,
It's
no
the
pass
best play
interference.
Jamal Adams made all season.
That's right.
Put Pat the Patriot out. You can't beat the real Patriot, so put Pat the Patriot out there. There's going to be some some flashbacks when the Jets play the Patriots next year.
Yeah.
Pat the Patriot will not probably even suit up for that Jets game. It's the only time anyone in New England's been afraid of the Jets.
Yep.
Ever. But all those Rex Ryan teams put some fear in somebody. But the Mark Sanchez experiment
I was about to say Mark Sanchez
didn't exactly pan out. Went to 2 FC championship games, and the rest was just not good. Not good. But Adam Vinatieri, 46, returning for his 24th season. He doinked one, and he gets to keep his job. Cody Parkey does it and doesn't get to. Now, not necessarily fair because that cost the Bears the game, and he did it 5 times in a season, and he's never won 3 Super Bowls and had the most famous kick in the snow. So Adam Vinatieri gets a little bit of leeway, a little bit. But 40 6 years old.
He's still pretty good too.
It wasn't in that division.
No, he was not. He was not. He was not big. He was not good in that game. But
no, but he's a top 10 kicker.
Oh yeah, best all time. I don't care what Barrett says.
Barrett says Adam Vinatieri's not the best all time.
Yeah.
What's he have? Some Redskin that he thinks?
I can't remember who he had at number 1.
Well, we're about to have that discussion because no one has made bigger kicks than Adam Vinatieri. So next week, going over prop bets, everything NFL, and a lot of NBA. Get out to Galgaribe and support the Cowboys tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday, as we said, to discuss Super Bowl week. We'll see you then.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided,
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.